There we go.
I just kind of lost my voice a bit through a cold, so I'm going to be needing this mic. I assume this is next. That's a nice picture of me. So hi, my name's Arthur Gakira, and I work for MyHotelShop. And today I will be talking more about meta search platforms, how they operate, and how hoteliers can actually take an advantage out of that. So how to increase online sales and direct sales via meta search platforms. Now, if you're a tourist, if you're a traveler, what function do they actually fulfill for you? Imagine you need to go somewhere. You always start off with a list, okay? You have checks. So how am I going? Where am I going? Am I flying? Am I taking the train? And then, of course, once you've decided that, where am I staying? What's my budget? What part of the city I want to stay in? What do I want from this hotel? Do I want a hotel with a nice spa? Do I want a hotel that's just basic, it's just a business trip? Well, half of those checks on your list can actually be answered by just going on a meta search platform, for example, like Trivago. I'm just going to give you an example here of a hotel. What information can you see here? You can see the prices that he's got on his website or the prices that he has on his OTAs. As you can see, they're not always the same. You can see how much stars he has, and also you can see the reviews that he has from different platforms. So you can always get the information that you need, and you can go with a certain feeling of confidence when you go through a meta search website. And that's the main reason why these guys have become so popular over the last couple of years. So the main platforms here, they are Kayak, TripAdvisor. Now those two are the big guys, mostly in the US, as well as in Asia, and then you got Trivago, and this is our big guy here from Europe. Now, let's check some data here, the trends. Since 2014 up to 2017, meta search has been growing, right, 33%. And in 2016, 2017, they have been in contact for 33 billion euros in terms of transactions. So that it goes to show that these guys are a big chunk of our business, of how we work. Now, Booking.com, everybody knows these guys were in the Booking.com city. How do they get their business? They seem like they're the overpowering overload that you can't get around, that you're stuck with. But how do they get their business? Through various platforms that you guys have access to at just the press of a button. For example, AdWords. AdWords by brand campaigns. Did anybody do like a little test? Like they go on Google and they type the name in your hotel. Did anybody do that already? Okay, let's assume that you have. What are the first guys that you come across? You type in the name of your hotel. It's always the usual suspects. You get Expedia, you get Booking, you get Trivago, you get everybody except your hotel. Now, why is that? Because they're running campaigns on your name. And that's how they can attract bookings that otherwise would have gone directly to you. That's how they get them through them. They also do presence campaigns on meta search platforms. Type in your hotel name on Trivago, on TripAdvisor, or Kayak. You will always see the top offer, unless you're doing it by yourself, unless you're doing direct campaigns, you're always going to see a top offer. It's going to be Booking.com or Expedia or somebody else. Now, what does this mean? Any booking coming through those platforms, you immediately pay a commission of 18 to 20%, depending on which OTA is selling your room. Sorry, pointing at the wrong one. Now, this is some information that I got from June. In the month of June, 53% of the search keyword campaigns for Booking.com has been through AdWords. So it just goes to show how much they are leaning on this to feed their own website. They're using the same things. Their success is actually based on these kind of tools. And for example, Expedia.co.uk, for example, in the month of June, if you add up Trivago.co.uk and TripAdvisor.co.uk, you can see that more than 25% of their business is driven through these meta search platforms. So they're a big guy. Also, in terms of research, you can see the trend here in Google, how many people are looking up the keywords Trivago, Skyscanner, TripAdvisor, etc. Now, as you can see, starting from 2010 up until now, you can see a steep incline of usage. So it just goes to show these guys are here to stay. Now, how does it work? You've got, on these platforms, you always have two versions of visibility. Now, the first visibility is horizontal visibility. Now, what does this mean? That's the different offers that you have on your page. Now, this hotel, for example, is doing direct campaigns. Now, what does this mean? He's got Site de l'Hôtel, I have it in French, sorry about that. But what this means is that he has a link to his own website directly on his page. Now, what does this mean? In a lot of times, for example here, he's a bit cheaper on his own website than he is on his OTAs. So what does this mean for the average guy? Okay, this is my go-to guy. I'm not going to go through Booking.com. I'm not going to go to Expedia. I want to save, in this case, €2. And people sometimes are really that stingy. For €2, they're going to prefer to go to a direct booking rather than to go to Expedia. Why would they? Huh? And that's about 10 to 15% of the queries that you have on these meta search platforms. And that the work is there is to decrease the dependability that you've got on your OTAs, as well as decrease your online distribution cost and decrease those commissions that you need to pay. Now you got a second form of visibility on there. And what this is most people, they don't type on a name. If they go on Trivago or TripAdvisor, they type on a city. I'm not going to stay in, let's say, the Hilton, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to stay in Paris. And then you get a list of hotels. Now, as you can see here, I typed in Paris, and I get a whole lot of lists there. So this isn't like manipulated or anything. I just typed in Paris. Now, is there something that you can see that there's a link between these 3 hotels? Anyone? Well, what they're actually, all 3 are doing are direct booking campaigns on these meta search platforms. They're linking their own website. Now, why does this give them that much visibility? Because they work on CPC. So if you put your direct link there, you can actually choose how much visibility you want on these platforms. And that's why they pop up on first. Now, what this is this works towards boosting the brand exposure that you have on these platforms in order to generate more bookings. Let's say that you have a hotel that has an occupancy rate of about 70%. You want to boost it up to 20%. This is a very important tool to get there. Boost your visibility on these platforms. And if you don't do it, then your visibility is solely dependent on how much your OTAs are willing to spend in order to get those bookings. So if you want to take it into your own hands, these kind of campaigns are the key. Now, these guys, they usually the companies, the agencies that work with this service, they work through 2 kind of modules. It's a CPA basis or a CPC basis. CPC, cost per click. Well, let's see this link. If we click on this link, it's going to cost you a click. Now, how much that is dependent on you. You want more visibility, it's going to cost you more. If you want less visibility, you can decrease it. You're going to have less visibility, less bookings, less brand exposure. Now, I prefer CPC. Why? Sometimes you're a hotel, you're 90% full, you don't need a lot of visibility because you're already 90% full. Okay, you set a low CPC and you can decrease your cost of distribution. But in another case, maybe you're in a place that has some seasonality. In low season, your occupancy can drop by 20%. Then you need to boost sales. You need to boost CPC in order to get that visibility. So there you have a little bit more flexibility in how to work. CPA basis, there are some guys that work with, okay, we do your campaigns and we charge you a CPA of 12%. And you're basically getting another OTA, maybe a little bit less expensive, but what does that mean? Out of that 12%, he needs to make money too. So he's only going to invest maybe 7, 8%, which means you're going to get very limited in terms of brand exposure. You're going to get very limited brand exposure, which means you're not going to get a lot of bookings. You're not going to get a lot of effect of that campaign. So that's why I propose to work CPC with these guys. Now, parody rate. Yes and no. Are the guys from Holiday in Amsterdam here, by any chance? No? Okay. Well, why I choose this screenshot, if you're paying attention a bit, what you can see is this guy is also doing a direct booking campaign. He's also highlighting the prices that he has on his website. But what you can also see is that Booking.com and Expedia are more than €20 per night cheaper than his direct website. So why would you run these campaigns if you're not going to have the most effective price? You're only running a risk here that you're going to have a cost of people clicking on your link, but you're not going to get the bookings because everybody knows that, okay, I can save up €20 per night if I book through somebody else. So that's something that you need to take care of. Make sure that if you run these campaigns, you're never more expensive than anybody else. Something to take care of. Now, a strategy. If you're going to run these campaigns, there is not one Trivago, there is not one TripAdvisor. There are various. if you're on TripAdvisor.nl, that doesn't mean necessarily that you're on TripAdvisor.co.uk. You need to make out for yourself, okay, what markets are going to be good for me, and set a CPC accordingly. Do I want a lot of visibility for the United Kingdom because I get a lot of customers from there? Well, then you need to boost visibility on those. And then you need to check out daily, okay, how are these campaigns running? Because if you only do this once a week, you check your CPCs, you can find out that your click budget has run out and you didn't get anything out of it. So this is something that it's really a daily kind of focus that you need to do. We also advise a maximum cost of distribution of 20%. Now I can already hear you thinking, yeah, but my OTAs, like for example, booking is 18% or it's maybe 17%. So why the hell would I try to sell it at 20%? That's again related to you having an occupancy rate of 20%, or 20%, sorry, of 70% or 60%. If this is the case with you, then you shouldn't care to sell a room at 20% or 25%. You need to sell that room because nothing is more damaging than 20% of your rooms not sold. You're not going to recoup that money later. So that's why we say, okay, sometimes you need to boost visibility, you need to boost your distribution costs. Sometimes you can reduce it. It's dependent on seasonality from time to time. Now, conclusion. Price comparators, now TripAdvisor excluded, they're not sales channels, so people don't book on Trivago. However, they can make a decision where they want to book. Do you want to book at your hotel? Do they want to book at your website? Do they want to book at one of your OTAs? Now, every hotel is present. Every hotelier here, you can check out, your hotel is going to be present, but it's going to be either through your own website or with your OTAs. So it's no longer the question, do I want to be part of this meta search phenomenon? It's now the question, do you want to be part of it directly, or do you want to let it over to your OTAs to run them for you? Now, is it profitable? Check out, how much are you paying to Booking.com in terms of CPA? Huh? Is it 18%? If with that 18% they can run a profit, you're keeping 100% of that booking. Think about it. Booking is not going to invest anything in a meta search platform that is not going to bring them a high return on investment. So you can be pretty sure that you can run a successful campaign. If everything is right, if all keystones are there where they need to be, then there is no reason why it's not going to work. Now I'm going to talk about these keystones in a later time. I'm going to give an example now of a customer that's working with us. Now you can see here on our dashboard, this guy has received 5,200 clicks that has resulted into 69 bookings and 191 room nights. Now what does this result mean? He's got 20,000 euros, 655, for a cost of 3,425 euros, which is a cost of distribution of about 16%. Now this is a hotel in Paris where there is a lot of competition. So you need to boost, if you want to get that sale, you need to go up to 16%. The idea is normally that we go around 12%. In order to be cheaper than your OTAs and in order to be to boost visibility. So this guy is actually at 16%, boosts his visibility, boosts his sales, and was still less expensive than his OTAs. Now here we can expand a little bit more. You can check where the clicks came from, where the bookings come from, and this is also an important tool in order to target in the future your customers more directly. Okay, if you can see where your online sales are coming from, where the clicks are coming from on these meta search platforms, it might be a key for you to target them more effectively, to define more new campaigns that will help you in the future. Now, online sales via wholesalers. Now, has anybody ever went to a MoMA? Or checked on your page on Amoma and then saw that they're selling your rooms cheaper than you have them? Has anybody had that? Well, what they're basically doing is they're reselling them. What they're doing is illegal. And this is kind of a real danger for you because you can set whatever price you want. If they're going to be there permanently with a cheaper rate, then you're going to lose money every time. And sometimes can be a lot. It sometimes can be 20 euros per room night. So imagine that on 10 bookings that you get, you lose 20. You can use up to 20% of your revenue because of these guys. They used to be really important for you guys, but they're becoming less and less important with the upcoming of OTAs and meta search platforms. So they're, for me, in my personal opinion, if you can cut them off, cut them off. I can see that I have the last minute, so I'm going to finish this up. Now, what's needed for a good campaign? I said I was going to come back to that. Now, what you need is a good modern website. I heard my friends from Mews talking about what's the word I'm looking for? The reception. Well, it used to be the first impression that you have a hotel was when you walked in and you went into the reception. That's no longer the case because they already made an impression of your hotel when they go on meta search platforms. The pictures that you see there, the online ratings that you have, or if they go to your website, that also creates an impression. So what you need is a good-looking, sleek-looking, and easy-to-use website with an effective booking engine to combine. So for them, going from point A, which is entering your website, to point B, which is booking, is as short as possible and as easy as possible. What we also need to have is reasonable rate policies. Now, if you're a 4-star hotel, right. If you're a 4-star hotel and you sell your rooms at 200 euros and you have a 5-star hotel that's selling your prices at a cheaper rate, then it's going to become dangerous for you. Well, not really dangerous, but it's something that will affect your campaign. So it's something you need to pay attention to. As well, again, your wholesaler issues. Take care of them. Make sure that you don't have cheaper rates with your OTAs than you would have with on your own booking system, as well with the wholesalers. And as well, daily meta search management. If you run these campaigns, take care of it. Take a half hour of your day to check whatever is happening and to see if everything's going all right. And just have an attractive profile. A lot of hoteliers don't realize is that the profile that you have on these meta search platforms, you can take control of that. The way they created these profiles is that they get information from your OTAs. But if it's old and outdated, then take control of this profile and update it. You know, you have nice looking rooms. You did a renovation that cost you a lot of money. Now make it work for you. Because if they see old pictures, they don't get to see the new rooms or anything new, then you're losing a lot of potential there as well. I'm just going to show you a little example. This is no joke, Hotel Lily. This is actually the picture that I found for a hotel, which is called Hotel Lily. Now, for the guys in the back, you might not see what's happening there, but you see a picture of the hotel, and then there's a guy with a bag of chips in the front. Now, I don't know who got the bright idea to put that. I mean, hey, kudos to him. He's getting a lot of brand exposure right now, but I doubt he's getting a lot of bookings through it. And you can see that he's got bad reviews as well. Now, here we have somebody else. It's Hotel Green Park. It's an outdated website. I don't want to talk trash about them, but for me personally, if I go from a link on Trivago and I see this kind of website, I find it a bit scary. Why? Because it can give you an idea if they're investing this little in their online presence, they might be not investing a lot on something else, which might not even be true. I'm sure they're a lovely hotel, but some people draw their conclusions pretty soon. It's that first impression that's important right now. So, what is stopping you from making your own booking system becoming your own OTA? Thank you very much for your attention.